Hello everyone, today we are going to talk about Claudebot and how to actually use it. Claudebot is powerful, and with powerful tools, it is important to understand what you are doing and why you are doing it. This is not just another AI chat website where you type a question and get a reply. Claudebot is an assistant that runs on your own computer and can interact with real systems. Because of that, you need to approach it with the right mindset. Claudebot has become very popular online because it represents a shift in how AI assistants work. Most people are used to AI tools that only talk. They answer questions, write text, or help you think. Claudebot goes beyond that. It is built to actually do things. It can open files, interact with apps, run commands, and connect to tools you already use. That is exciting, but it also means it comes with responsibility. Before you even install Claudebot, you should understand who this tool is really for. If you only want quick answers, writing help, or casual brainstorming, you probably do not need Claudebot. Tools like Claude or ChatGPT are already great at that. Claudebot is for people who are comfortable with setup, permissions, and thinking carefully about what an assistant should be allowed to access. If that sounds like you, then Claudebot can become a very useful part of your workflow. Now, let us start from the beginning. To get Claudebot, you need to visit its official website. The website address is claud.bot. When you open the site, the first thing you will notice is the focus on action. The message is clear. This assistant is built to do things, not just talk. You will also see that this is an open source project. That means the code is available publicly, usually through GitHub. If you are technical or curious, you can inspect how it works and even contribute to it. On the website, you will find installation instructions for different operating systems. Claudebot works on macOS, Windows, and Linux. Choose the version that matches your system. The installation process depends slightly on your operating system, but the idea is the same. You download the package, follow the setup steps, and allow it to run locally on your machine. During installation, you may be asked to approve certain permissions. This is a critical step. Claudebot can only do what you allow it to do. If you give it access to your files, it can read or organize them. If you connect it to your browser, it can help with web-based tasks. If you link messaging apps, it can communicate through them. You should take your time here and only enable what you truly need. Once Claudebot is installed and running, you do not interact with it through a typical dashboard like most AI tools. Instead, Claudebot integrates with apps you already use. This might include messaging platforms like WhatsApp, Telegram, Discord, Slack, Signal, iMessage, Claude, GPT, Spotify, Hue, Obsidian, Twitter, browser, Gmail, GitHub, or even local interfaces, depending on how you configure it. The idea is that you talk to Claudebot the same way you would talk to a coworker or assistant. For example, instead of opening a special app and typing a command, you might send a message saying something like organize my project files by date or check my calendar and summarize today's meetings. Claudebot receives that message, understands it using an AI model, and then takes action using the permissions and tools you have connected. This is a good time to clear up a common confusion. Claudebot is not the same thing as Claude, the AI model created by Anthropic. Claude is a language model. It can think, reason, and generate text. Claudebot is the system that uses a model like Claude to turn thoughts into actions. You can think of the AI model as the brain and Claudebot as the body and tools around it. Claudebot is not limited to one AI model. Depending on your setup, it can use Claude, OpenAI models, or even locally running models. This flexibility is one of its strengths. You can choose the model that best fits your needs, whether that is reasoning, speed, cost, or privacy. After installation, one of the first things you should do is configure your tools. Tools are the actions Claudebot is allowed to take. This might include file system access, browser control, email access, or command line execution. Each tool usually needs to be enabled manually. This design is intentional. It forces you to think about security and scope. For example, if you want Claudebot to help manage files, you might give it access to a specific folder instead of your entire drive. If you want it to help with emails, you might start with read-only access. You can always expand permissions later, but starting small is a good habit. As you grow more comfortable, you can move to more advanced workflows. One of the most powerful ideas behind Claudebot is long-term memory. Unlike traditional chat sessions that reset, Claudebot can maintain context over time. It can remember preferences, ongoing projects, and patterns in how you work. This makes it feel less like a chatbot and more like a long-term assistant. For example, if you regularly work on a specific project, Claudebot can learn where the files are, what tools you use, and what steps you usually take. Over time, you can give shorter and more natural instructions because it already understands the background. This is why some people compare Claudebot to a real digital assistant, similar to the idea of Jarvis. It is persistent, always available, and integrated into daily tools. Unlike older automation systems, where you had to manually connect each app and define every step, Claudebot relies heavily on natural language. You describe what you want, and it figures out how to do it using the tools it has. However, this power also means you must stay alert, because Claudebot can run commands and interact with systems. Mistakes can have real consequences. Always review what it plans to do, especially for complex or sensitive tasks. Many setups allow you to require confirmation before actions are executed. This is a good safety measure and highly recommended. Another important aspect is updates. Since Claudebot is open source and evolving quickly, updates are frequent. These updates can bring new features, bug fixes, and security improvements. Make sure you keep your installation up to date and read release notes when possible. This helps you understand what has changed and whether any permissions need to be reviewed. In the future, more assistants will work like this. They will live closer to our systems, understand long-term goals, and take actions on our behalf. Learning how to work with tools like Claudebot now gives you an advantage. It teaches you how to think in systems, not just prompts. At the same time, it is important not to chase every new tool. New AI projects appear constantly, and not all of them are worth your time. The real skill is knowing when a tool fits your needs and when it does not. Claudebot is powerful, but it is not required for everyone. If you are interested in building real AI-powered workflows for work or business, Claudebot can be a strong foundation. You can combine it with other tools, automation platforms, and APIs to create systems that save time and create value. This is where AI becomes more than a toy and starts becoming a serious productivity tool. To wrap this up, Claudebot is an assistant that can truly act, not just talk. It runs on your machine, connects to your tools, and can grow with you over time. It requires care, thought, and responsibility, but for the right user, it can be incredibly powerful. Take your time with setup, start small, and always stay aware of permissions and security. There are always risks, and it will be mentioned in the installation as well. So take each step carefully. Before we finish, let's quickly cover some important safety precautions. Claudebot is powerful, so you should always be careful with permissions. Only give it access to what it truly needs. If it does not need full access to your files, email, or system commands, keep those permissions disabled. Start with simple, low-risk tasks and increase access slowly as you gain confidence. Avoid connecting sensitive accounts right away, such as your main email, financial data, or production systems. If possible, enable action confirmation so you can review what Claudebot plans to do before it actually runs anything. Also, keep Claudebot and its dependencies up to date, since updates often include important security fixes. If you do not feel comfortable running Claudebot directly on your personal computer, you can use it through the cloud by setting it up on a VPS. A VPS is a virtual private server, which is basically a remote computer that runs all the time. You can get one from providers like DigitalOcean, Hetzner, Linode, or AWS. Most people choose a Linux server, usually Ubuntu. After creating the VPS, you connect to it using SSH from your local machine. Then you install the required tools and dependencies, followed by Claudebot itself, using the official setup instructions. Once installed, you configure your AI model keys and permissions just like you would on a local system. To interact with Claudebot on a VPS, you usually connect it to a messaging app like Telegram, Discord, or Slack. This way, you can send commands from anywhere, while Claudebot runs safely on the remote server. This approach keeps your personal system isolated and gives you more control over security. Thanks for watching.